What is up? What is good? All Pro Nation family. We are back with the All Pro Nation podcast live here on the All Pro Nation Radio Network. I'm your host, Chris Smith, joined as always by my buddy Tanner Weber. Tanner, how you doing, man?
I'm great, Chris. How about you?
Man, it is a freaking beautiful day in Louisiana.
It's hot here today.
It is hot as crap. But
what's the temp for you guys?
Let's see. Let's look. It was 100 degrees at 9 o'clock this morning. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it's 111 here today.
Oh, we're at just on 102. So,
yeah, but you guys got humidity, so it makes it feel a lot hotter than it is.
Oh yeah, it's like 90% humidity here.
Yeah, that sucks. Ugh.
It's terrible.
Are you gonna tell everybody about our other co-host tonight?
Who, Brad?
No, Jade.
Oh, Jade. Jade done walked off.
Oh man,
Jade done walked off. Once I started talking, she said, "This is for the birds. I want to go nap." Jade is my dog. She's amazing. I thought you were talking about Brad. Brad's going to be coming on the show later on in the show. What's that?
Travis.
No, his name is Brad. Okay.
Travis Wingfield.
Brad Wingfield.
Okay.
Brad Wing. He's the punter for the New York Giants.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. So we have got an awesome show planned for you guys today. We are going to talk a little of the AFC East and break some of that down. We have Travis Wingfield, who covers the Dolphins for the Locked On Dolphins network. He'll be joining us in a little bit to kind of break it down some more. And so, really cool show. Y'all be sure to go follow him, support him, let him know that you found him through the All Pro Nation podcast. All right, so let's get started. Let's dive right on in. Let's see. So for the AFC East, Tanner, let me ask you. Obviously, the Patriots won the NFC East last year. Do you think that they're going to win the NFC East or the AFC East this year?
I do.
Okay.
I really don't think that there's another team in that division that can compete with them.
Okay. Now, all right, so if you had to pick a team that could make a run and surprise them, who would you look at?
Probably the Dolphins.
Okay.
We talk about it a little later on the show with Travis, but it always seems like Miami has kind of been Tom Brady's kryptonite.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a winning record against them, but like when he goes down to Miami, it's pretty even. I think he's like 9-9 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he did lose last year, so I don't know. I don't really see the Dolphins competing with the Patriots, but I think if I had to pick one team out of those three in the division to compete with the Patriots, it'd definitely be the Dolphins. I do like what they did this offseason. Adding Robert Quinn on the defense is huge. I think that's going to help their pass rush a lot. But at the same time, they lost Ndamukong Suh, so there's still a big gap in the middle. Their run game could suffer a little bit this year, but overall, I like what they did. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick in the draft. I think he's going to be a stud for them for a long time. And they got Josh Sitton to upgrade on the offensive line, so I think that's going to help a lot too. Oh, yeah. And Ryan Tannehill is 10 times better than Jay Cutler.
Yeah. So is nobody really kind of buying into what the Bills were able to do last year?
No.
No.
Do you?
No.
I don't know. I just went through this the other day. I was breaking down I did all my offseason rankings for positions. And when I was going through the Bills roster, I think they have like the least talented roster as a whole in the league.
Yeah.
It's just really struggling. And I know like we were talking about it in our draft shows about how I only thought Josh Allen was going to be successful if he went to the right system. And I think he's going into a disaster. And I don't think it's helping his case at all to be successful.
Yeah. All right. So what about so the Patriots obviously won the AFC last year. Do you see them repeating as AFC champions again this year?
You're gonna kill me for this.
Uh-oh.
I do think they're going to repeat.
Ah,
I know I said after the Super Bowl that they weren't going to make it back. And I don't know, they might not make it back to the Super Bowl, but I still think that they're going to win the AFC East just because I was looking at their schedule and it doesn't look like it's too terribly hard. And as long as Belichick and Brady are there and on the same page, I don't think it matters what kind of talent you surround them with. I think that they're going to win.
yeah,
So I think it's Patriots 1A, and then everybody else kind of falls in line after that. If I had to pick one team to really compete with them, it's not Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. I know we asked Travis this in our interview as well, and I'm gonna. It sounds like I'm copying him, but I swear to
you
God, I'm
are
not.
copying him, Brad. He's copying you.
Brad.
The
No,
listeners are probably wondering, why do you keep calling this guy Brad if his name's Travis? Y'all are gonna find out.
but yeah, I'm going with the Chargers. Philip Rivers. I mean, he's still playing really well. He played really well last year. Um, and I love everything that they've done to their team in the past 2 years. They upgraded their defense immensely, and the offense still looks terrific, and they're still going to put points on the board. So if I have to pick one team in the AFC to compete with the Patriots, it's going to be the Chargers.
Yeah. Okay.
How about you? I got
Um,
to ask the same thing.
you know, I think the Steelers are always the easy answer because it always feels like it's the Steelers and the Patriots.
1A and 1B.
Yeah. You know, the
See, my
AFC is interesting. I think that the NFC again is going to be the more dominant conference. I think there are several teams in the NFC that could beat anybody in the AFC, whoever wins that division. So I'll be shocked if the AFC wins the Super Bowl this year. But never say never. I like the Chargers pick a lot. I do. Uh, I just the Chargers have just Philip Rivers is he's a good quarterback. He's just never really been able to get his team over that hump.
Mhm.
Um, I like what I see in Kansas City. I like Patrick Mahomes. I think that's very promising. People might riot when I say this. I honestly, there's no chance they make the playoffs this year, but uh, be on the lookout for them in the coming years, and that's the Cleveland Browns. I really like what they've built over there so far.
Mhm.
I don't know if they have the right coach, uh, but
We're gonna
I
find out.
but I really like what the Cleveland Browns have got. I mean, that is just a stacked roster from top to bottom.
They are pretty talented.
Um, so so I like that. You know, I don't know, man. I think it's the Patriots conference again. I really do. Um, I I like Houston too. Houston's intriguing to me.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville. Jacksonville is obviously very intriguing. So, man,
Andrew Luck might be back this year with the
yeah,
Colts.
well, yeah, I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch there. Uh, so there's a lot of very interesting teams. I'm very curious to see how it's going to go. I think it's Patriots win it again. This might be their last one before Jacksonville, Cleveland, Houston start taking over and winning the AFC. So I'm sticking with the Patriots, and I don't know if there's really anybody that's going to be able to beat them this year.
I feel like a lot of people will probably say, "Why the hell?" I mean, you didn't pick Pittsburgh. It seems like the logical answer, and I didn't pick Pittsburgh. And I mean, we don't know what's going on with Le'Veon Bell. I mean, the offense will still be pretty good, but the
Yeah, but
defense, you even noticed it last year without Ryan Shazier. They're completely different.
completely different, and I just don't know how they're going to address that. Um, you know,
They
um,
have enough experience in the playoff to take them on a run to hold. I mean, some
yeah,
of the top QBs in that division, like Brady.
yeah, and I mean, I think that Pittsburgh got lucky last year because Big Ben started the season very, very slow, terrible. Um,
Light at the end of the tunnel.
and he was able to kind of put it all together by the end of the season and make a good run. But I mean,
Mhm.
I think a lot of that had to do with the AFC just being very weak last year. Outside of the Patriots and the Jaguars, there was really nobody else in the AFC to really compete with Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
And so for that number 3 spot, so I question with the return of Deshaun Watson in Houston. Looks like Andrew Luck's going to be back. And I think Cleveland's very promising. I like what Cincinnati's done too. With some of these teams kind of getting it into their own. I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to have that luxury of letting Big Ben start off slow and still be in the mix at the end of the year. I think they've got to come out firing week 1.
I got to throw one more team out there because nobody's going to talk about them, and it's going to sound crazy, but just hear me out. I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to win the AFC North this year.
I wouldn't think that's crazy.
Really? You're not off the Flacco bandwagon or anything like that?
No, I mean, I think that I I think that for anybody who thinks that uh,
I
Lamar
don't believe in
Jackson
that.
isn't going to play as crazy, he is going to see time on the field. I would
Oh, sure, yeah. They're
they
talking
they
about
they
packages
they're
right
going to have designed plays for him. It's not going to make Flacco happy, but there will be designed plays for Lamar Jackson. I think that they had I think they easily had the best draft this year. Um, and you just look at what the Saints were able to do, going from 7-9 the year before to having the year they had this past year off just one solid, I mean, front to back draft class. I mean, look for the Ravens to make some noise for sure.
Yeah, I think their schedule is really favorable. And Flacco seems like he's in a position right now where his back's up against the wall, and he's just going to end up proving everybody wrong, and he's going to put that front office and that staff in a tough position next offseason because a lot of fans are probably going to want to see more Jackson. But I think he's going to play well in 2018, and he's just going to force them to, I don't know, keep him as a starter. Or they're going to get something for him in a trade next year.
Yeah,
But their defense is always going to be good. I mean, it's Baltimore. It's just
yeah,
the way it is. They're getting a lot of key pieces back on their offensive line this year with Alex Lewis and Marshall Yanda too. So I am really excited. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. It wouldn't surprise me if they were actually like the 2 seed in the AFC.
yeah. All right, so now let's get into something fun. Back into the AFC talk, AFC East talk. Who do you like coming out of the AFC to be the rookie of the year this year?
Out of the AFC East,
Yeah, and look, and you are not allowed to pick the person that Brad picked.
Brad. I just can't get over it. I'm not going to pick him. The reason I'm not going to pick the same player he did is because New England's backfield is so damn crowded. I just don't know how Sony Michel is going to see enough time on the field to be able to put up the stats that would like make him the clear cut favorite to be like a offensive rookie of
You
the year
really
candidate.
shouldn't keep ruining what's going to happen in the podcast later on. They're not going to have any reason to listen.
Well, I just won't say his name. You want me to call him Brad too?
Yeah, Brad picked Brad to be rookie of the year.
I'm I don't know. I'm really stuck between two guys. There's not a lot of candidates for the offensive player
Hmm.
in the AFC East. I'd probably either go Josh Allen or Mike Gesicki. I think Mike Gesicki, the tight end out of Penn State, is going to see a lot of time. He'll be the clear-cut starter in Miami, and so I think he'll probably receive a lot of targets. And the only reason I put Josh Allen in there is because I think A.J. McCarron might end up being the starter to start the year, but I've already alluded to how bad I think their roster is. They're not talented. I think McCarron's going to get into trouble, and they're going to get put in a situation where they're going to force Josh Allen on the field. So I don't know whether or not he'd be successful, but I think he'll have numbers to be the candidate for that division.
Yeah, and look, I mean, you remember we remember going before the draft, and I mean, it's no secret that Josh Allen was my favorite quarterback coming out of the draft, and so to see all the reports that he is that he has really come into his own, and it looks like he'll probably, of all the rookie quarterbacks outside of Baker Mayfield, he'll probably be the only one that starts.
It sees a lot of time, yeah. I
Yes.
agree.
And so, people called me crazy for my take on Josh Allen. I think people are going to be surprised. I think Buffalo got a really good quarterback there.
I mean, he has all the intangibles to be successful, but outside of LaShawn McCoy, I mean, who else on that offense, wide receiver, tight end, and offensive line, who else is giving him a lot of help? I mean, they lost a lot of players. Incognito's gone. Eric Wood is gone. Cordy Glenn is gone. Their offensive line is going to look completely different. And their best receiver is Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
So
for me, I'm gonna agree with you. I think Gesicki is gonna be hands down in this division the rookie of the year. I mean, with losing Jarvis Landry, Tannehill's coming back. Jarvis Landry was his safety blanket. Um, I think that Gesicki's going to be able to have a big role. He's the clear cut starter there, and I think that he is going to help Tannehill kind of get back into the game after missing last year. So yeah, I really like Gesicki as the offensive rookie coming out of the AFC East.
Okay.
All right, so defensive rookie of the year coming out of the AFC East.
This doesn't really seem like much of a competition, to be honest. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick has to be like the clear-cut favorite for most people. The only other one that might really compete is Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker in Buffalo. But no. Minkah Fitzpatrick, and we're going to let Travis allude on that more later. But he stacks up with some of the best safeties to ever come out of college just because of his versatility. He's long. He can play all the positions. He can play inside the box, and he can cover the deep field. Center field, side to side, really fast. So I think Minkah Fitzpatrick is easily like the clear-cut favorite.
Yeah, I'm not even going to argue with you on that. I agree, and Brad's got some really good breakdown on that.
Yeah.
All right, so I know it's early, but we're going to do it. How do you see the division? Oh wait, no, I forgot. Breakout players.
Ooh, my favorite part.
Let's see. Let's start with New England.
With the Patriots?
Yeah.
My boy Cordero Patterson.
Ooh. I like it.
Yeah. I love Cordero. I loved him in Minnesota. He had a terrific rookie year when he scored 9 touchdowns, receiving and rushing, kickoff, return, whatever. And he was successful that year because the Vikings used him in the right way. After Norv Turner left, he wasn't used the same. He didn't receive as many targets. And he's not a good route runner by any means. But I think Bill Belichick's going to find ways, or not Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, excuse me. I think he's going to find ways to get the ball in Patterson's hands. And anytime you do that, there's always special things that happen. So I think he's going to be the breakout player.
Okay, I like that. All right, so for me, this was tough, man. I look at the Patriots because the Patriots, their team is always just like a mixed bag of people, right? And so I really didn't know where to go here. And so I'm going with somebody. He had a big end of a season last year. He had one really phenomenal game, and that pretty much made up his whole stats for the year. I'm eager to see him in the New England defense, and that's going to be defensive end Adrian Claiborne.
Ooh, I like that pick.
I want to see them unleash him, and of course, everybody remembers Claiborne for the 6 sacks against Dallas last year. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be that dominant in every game, but I want to see them really unleash him and see what he can do. And I think he's going to prove that he can be a starting defensive end in this league.
Yeah.
So Adrian Claiborne's my pick.
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
The thing with New England is they have their defensive line rotation at D end is so terrific. Anytime a D end comes on the field, they're at full strength because they just rotate so much.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to benefit him a lot too.
Okay, so move on to the Jets.
Let me see who I picked. I can't remember.
I don't know. I'll go. Why
Oh, I
you?
picked. Yeah, I did not. This was the team I had the toughest time with, and I'm going with Marcus May.
Okay, I like that pick. I like that pick.
Yeah, the safety across from Jamal Adams. He played a lot of strong safety in college, and so his first year was in the first year in the pro. I think he played majority free safety last year, and he'll play free safety again this year. But I think with another year under his belt, I think he'll adjust. He's a playmaker. I mean, that's who he is. That's who he was at Florida, and
Yeah.
that's who he'll be this year.
Um. So I mean,
Say Teddy Bridgewater. I dare you.
what's that?
Say Teddy Bridgewater. Just do it.
Uh. So I picked Teddy Bridgewater. I'm just
Did you
kidding.
really? Oh.
Hold on. I do have some commentary on Bridgewater though. After no. So who I picked is probably, I don't know if he really counts as breakout, but I'm putting him breakout because I think he's going to have a better year next year than he had this year. And really truly be one of the top three safeties in football, and that's Jamal Adams.
Ooh.
I think he is going to build in his sophomore season what he did in his freshman season. I'm excited about Jamal Adams. Obviously, as an LSU guy, I try to follow a lot of the LSU players,
Mm.
and Jamal Adams is just a beast. So
Yeah.
look for Jamal Adams to have a better year this year than he just had.
Yeah, I mean, he was already a top 10 player after his rookie season. I'm really curious to see how he makes that jump this year.
Yeah. So there were a couple players on this team that you can justify picking as a breakout player. I think I do want to hit on Bridgewater because there's a lot of positive stuff coming out about Bridgewater out of mini camps and OTAs, and now
Yeah,
granted,
they said that in mini camps he's taken majority of the first team reps over Josh McCown.
yeah. Well, here's the thing: they can't get rid of Josh McCown. They guaranteed $10 million. I mean, they could, but they're
He's a
paying.
good backup though.
Yeah. They drafted Sam Darnold. Teddy Bridgewater is lighting it up, proving that he is still a starting quality quarterback. Look for Teddy Bridgewater to get traded in training camp and be
Ooh.
a breakout player on another team. It just won't be for the Jets.
Yeah, we know somewhere doesn't we don't know what team, and hopefully it doesn't happen. But every year there's always a team that loses a starter, and I mean, there's a lot of backup QBs in this league that are going to be on the trading table,
Oh
and
yeah,
Bridgewater is definitely one of them.
oh yeah. Bridgewater is going to be one of the most highly sought after quarterbacks
You
in,
could get
in training camp.
and you could get a lot for him too. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I think they could easily get a high second round pick for him
yeah.
for sure.
Hmm.
All right, so let's move on up to the Bills, Buffalo Bills.
Okay, Buffalo Bills. I went with Zay Jones, wide receiver, and the reason I picked him is because there is just not a lot of weaponry on that offense for receiving targets. And I think outside Kelvin Benjamin, Zay Jones is really the only other guy. So I think he's going to receive a lot of targets,
Mm-hmm.
which should really bump his numbers up a lot. So I think he'll have a pretty good year.
Okay.
He's a good route runner too. I mean, he was a good player coming out of school.
Yeah, so the Bills, so you said the Jets were a hard team for you. The Bills were a hard team for me. I sat here and looked through all their players because I didn't want to do the easy pick like our buddy Brad did and say Shaq Lawson. Um, and so
I know that's the one I was looking at too. I was like, I can't say Shaq Lawson.
like that's like such a gimme, you know. And so
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sitting here and I can't figure out who I want it to be. So I'm just going Kelvin Benjamin. I think he has to have a good year.
yeah, he does.
AJ McCarron, Nathan Peterman, Josh Allen.
Mhm.
They need Kelvin Benjamin to be a good player. And so, not that I think it'll be Kelvin Benjamin, but Kelvin Benjamin's the one that Buffalo needs to be the breakout player this year.
Mhm.
So, all right, and now we'll move on down to the Miami Dolphins.
Okay. For the Dolphins pick, I went with surprise kind of. Most people pick positional players. I went with an
Brock
offensive line.
Osweiler.
No, Buck Osweiler. He's going to get cut. He's not even going to make the team.
Oh man, don't say it.
I'm going with Laremy Tunsil.
Ooh, is he
Uh,
smoking weed still?
we don't know.
No.
I think if he does it, he'll play better though. It's more focused.
Okay.
He was not very good last year, but the Dolphins' offensive line as a whole wasn't very good last year. And I just think the addition of Josh sitting beside him is it's gonna make a world of difference for him. And I know there's a lot of players, a lot of left tackles in this league that upgrade their play tremendously when they have somebody that can play well beside them. And Josh Sitton is still a top 5 guard at his age.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to help or elevate Laremy Tunsil's game extremely.
Okay. So, Laremy Tunsil. All right.
You got to pick a wideout.
Okay. Can I pick
You
Bryce
have
Petty? Does he count?
Bryce, is he still on a team?
Yeah, he's on the Dolphins.
Oh yeah. Hackenberg is the one that got cut again.
Yeah, Hackenberg.
He went to the Raiders and he got cut again.
The Dolphins have Osweiler, Tannehill, and Bryce Petty.
And David Fales.
And David Fales.
I think David Fales.
All right, no, I am going wide receiver. I'm going Kenny Stills. I love Kenny Stills. I wish
Homer pick.
Yeah, it is. It's a homer pick. I think that this is the moment that Kenny Stills has been waiting for. He's been wanting to be the number one wide receiver. And with the release of
Dolphin. I'm confused.
who did the Dolphin wide receiver that just Jarvis Landry? Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Okay. With Jarvis Landry leaving, Devontae Parker is he's okay. I think that Kenny Stills is set up to be the number one wide receiver this year. It's what he's wanted, and now he gets a chance at doing it.
The Dolphins' wide receiving corp is actually like
Meh.
quietly underrated. I feel like
Really,
honestly, like they're not like they don't have any like big names or like we gotta watch out for him every game. But like you said, Kenny Stills has the potential to be a number one.
You like Devontae
Parker, and then Travis is gonna. Yeah, he hits on Jakeem Grant. He's gonna talk about him a little bit, saying why. I mean, I wouldn't even really peg him to make the roster, but apparently he's turning some heads down there. So we'll let him talk about that. But they went and got Amendola.
Oh yeah, they did get Amendola.
Albert Wilson from Kansas City came down.
Yeah.
So I mean, they got some good players on there.
Yeah.
Serviceable.
Yeah, Miami's a weird team too, man. I don't really know how to feel about them, but I like them. It's weird. Very weird. Mm-hmm. All right. So, how do you see the division top to bottom?
The Patriots are the clear-cut team, number one, I think, like we just alluded to, as long as Brady's there. And then I think for 1A or 2A, 2B, and 2C, it's kind of just whoever jumps up and grabs it. I think those teams are all really close together, Dolphins, Bills, and Jets. I'm going to go with Miami because I think that or I like the additions that they did on defense this year, and having Tannehill back is going to help a lot. So I got them finishing second. And then for 3A and 3B, I'm just going – I probably just flip a coin, honestly. I'm going to go with the Jets because I really like Teddy Bridgewater. And I got the Bills, who are honestly might be the worst team in the AFC.
Really?
Hate me for it, Bills fans. I'm just not feeling it.
Very interesting. They made the playoffs last year.
I got them finishing. Did my schedule breakdowns. AFC East, Patriots 13-3, Dolphins 7-9, Jets 5-11, Bills 5-11.
Okay.
Bills gold.
Well, I'm going Patriots. I'm going Patriots, Dolphins, Bills, Jets.
You're gonna switch the Bills and the Jets around. You don't like the Jets, huh?
No, I do like the Jets. I do, and I hope the Jets do well because I really don't want to see Todd Bowles get fired. But
Mm-hmm.
That's just where the talent is, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we kind of disagree on the Bills. I like the Bills a little bit more than you do, apparently, but
Yeah.
is what it
Well,
is.
if you like that
Is
talent,
what it is.
I'm just really worried about winning in the trenches. I think their offensive line just looks really bad on paper. I'm worried
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. All right. So let's move into news and notes of the week.
News and notes.
News and notes. So can I start?
Yep.
Okay.
Hit it.
I do not want to hear one freaking person complain about T.O. not going to go to the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Talk about it.
I don't want to hear nobody
Why
complain
not?
about it because T.O. should not have had to wait to be a third ballot Hall of Famer. He's clearly a first ballot Hall of Famer. The Hall of Fame didn't want him. I don't blame him at all for not wanting to go.
Yeah.
I think that I heard this on another podcast that I listened to this week, and I thought it was freaking hilarious. That they think that To should simultaneously, while the Hall of Fame speeches are going on, have his own speech and air it on and get it aired on another channel and see which one draws the most ratings.
Wow.
Because
I think he'd probably still
I'm
lose.
telling you, who would you rather listen to, Brian Urlacher or To?
I'd rather listen to Randy Moss than T.O.
I would rather. I like Randy Moss's accent. It's freaking amazing.
But yeah, Brian Urlacher, is just kind of a quiet guy.
Yeah, who would you rather listen to, Ray
But
Lewis or
that's
To?
but that's who T.O. has always been.
Yeah, and
Like,
like that's another thing. Like this has To written all over it. Why is anybody shocked that
surprised. Yeah.
To is not going to go to the Hall of Fame ceremony and then make a deal about it?
Mm-hmm.
And then what really, really ticked me off. I can't remember the writer's name, but one of the writers that votes on the Hall of Fame came out and said, "Well, if he would have known To was going to do this, he wouldn't have voted for him." And that kind of pisses
Huh.
me off because that right there just shows that this particular writer has a bias.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Because
It's
this doesn't matter if you go to the actual Hall of Fame ceremony and have to take all the pictures and do everything that the NFL wants you to do. That does not define if you're a true Hall of Famer. What defines if you're a true Hall of Famer is what you do on the field. And I don't understand why sports writers are the ones that are in control of these people's destiny. To was clearly a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I agree, but at the same time, no, I agree 100%. But at the same time, there's going to be players like Darren Sharper that aren't going to see the Hall of Fame because of what they did off the field.
Well, and that's fine. Darren Sharper does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame
As a player or as an idiot, being
as
an
a
idiot off
human
the field.
being.
Yeah, as a human being, sure.
But look, O.J. Simpson's in the Hall of Fame,
Mm-hmm.
and he murdered his wife, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Then he just got out of jail after holding up a hotel room with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
O.J.
Lawrence Sapp's
Simpson's a
history isn't
terrible
terrific.
human being, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
But there are a lot of writers out there that'll base their vote on a reputation and what they think of a player rather than what they did on the field. Like you said, I think you hit that perfectly.
Yeah. So,
And it's
anyways,
BS.
that's bull crap. And then I have one more rant before you get into the news and notes. Did you see the report about coming out of Detroit this week?
Oh, about Matt Patricia?
About Matt Patricia's losing the locker room.
Already? How can you say that?
He's losing the locker room because he is making players run after practice, sprints.
They don't want to work or what?
And this particular, hold on, let me find the article. It was on the because I'm about to blast the person who wrote this, so y'all can go find him on Twitter and tell him he's a freaking idiot.
It wasn't Dave Burkett, was it?
I hope it was.
I like Dave though.
Um,
Good guy. Yeah, that's really.
Here it is, right here. Sean Windsor of the Detroit Free Press, said that he's losing the team because he's making them run these sprints and gassers after practice, and this isn't the team. This isn't the this is the Detroit Lions that Jim Schwartz didn't make run gassers, and that Jim Caldwell didn't make run gassers, and these are veterans. And my only question is, are you talking about the two head coaches that had very little success in Detroit? So you want to replicate what they did? That makes no sense. And here's the thing: the Patriots have given us a blueprint on how to win Super Bowls, have they not?
Yes.
Matt Patricia has coached his entire career in New England. He has studied under the greatest head coach of all time. He knows the formula to win a Super Bowl. They run in New England, and it works for them. And nobody complains. Now, granted, they wait and complain till after they get cut. We just saw that happen, right? All these players this offseason came out and complained about Bill Belichick. So, yeah. So they complain after they leave, but nobody complains when they're there. And it's because it's disciplined. And why knock it before you even see the results on the field? Matt Patricia wants to make them run. They need to go out and run.
Yeah, it's early.
Did you play football in high school?
Of course I did.
Did you have to run sprints after practice?
Of course we did.
Exactly. You do it in high school. You do it in college. Why can't you do it in the professionals?
I feel like it happens quite a bit. Like, I don't know why they would complain about it. I don't know if after practice so much, but I know even as like when Mike Zimmer first came to Minnesota his first year, when I attended training camp that year, I can't remember what happened. I think the offensive line gave up like 4 sacks, 4 plays in a row or something like that. And Zimmer got pissed, made the entire team do like 100 push-ups, and then they had to do wind sprints because he was so pissed off. I would respect the coach for doing that. Like, I don't understand why there would be any sort of rumor coming out of that Detroit locker room that says, we don't respect Matt Patricia for making us run. Like,
what has Detroit done to think that anything that Jim Caldwell and Jim Schwartz did worked?
And at the same time, there needs to be a leader. Matthew Stafford, where are you at? Step up and defend your coach.
Exactly. I'm over it. I'm tired of these teams who constantly lose year in and year out, and their garbage teams get good head coaches and they run them out of town because they don't like the way they do things, a la the San Francisco 49ers. Detroit's trying to do it. Hell, the New York Giants did it. Coughlin was a great coach.
Yep, he was.
And you ran him right out of town. Look what he does. He goes to Jacksonville. He joins the front office. They're a couple plays away from a freaking Super Bowl.
It's a simple system.
Buffalo did it with Doug Marrone. Also, look at Jacksonville. So I'm tired of seeing good coaches get a bad rap because they're being hard on players.
Yeah, it is the offseason too. The writer's probably bored and looking for something to write about, but
yeah. All right, so I'm done complaining.
Terrific. Are you sure you don't have anything else you want to rant about?
I could just.
Did you see the Packers coach yesterday? His interview.
I don't know if I want to.
What is his name?
Mike McCarthy.
He's assistant head coach, linebackers coach.
Oh.
Winston Moss, that's his name. He had an interview. He had like 4 different reporters ask him questions, and he pretty much, I don't know, he didn't even really answer the questions. He kind of just sat there while the reporters like, why won't you answer our questions today? And there was like, it was coming out of Green Bay that like nobody even really knew what's going on. Like they said that wasn't like something that he would normally do. They said he's just been doing it like this past week. Like he just seems really pissed off with the media, and I don't know why that would be because it's only June. So I'd have to read more into it, but you should definitely like watch that video on Twitter. It's pretty funny.
I will. Let me ask you, how do you feel about there are two contract situations kind of going on right now? One of them being Julio Jones, and the other one being Cam Chancellor. Not Cam Chancellor. Yeah, Cam Chancellor.
No, Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
Earl Thomas.
I'll start with Julio Jones, and I mean I can understand why he's holding out. As for the people that don't know, Julio Jones is not attending the Falcons' mandatory minicamp, and I think it's rightfully so because I think it's complete BS that he's not being paid like a top 5 wideout, which he is.
But when he signed the contract, he was being paid like a top 5 wideout.
Yeah, he's holding out now. He wants more money.
Exactly, but you signed a contract.
Oh, sure.
And
let me hear your defensive side of it.
Well, look, and here's my thing too, bro. Like I get pissed off when I see good players get cut by the team and nobody complains that the team didn't hold up their end of the contract. I get ticked off about that too because these people have a livelihood. And you can say, "Oh yeah, well they're making millions and millions of dollars and you know that they don't no, they live a lifestyle that me and you don't live. They still need to get paid." So, yes, I get mad when teams don't hold up a contract. I'm sorry, bro. You signed a contract. Finish your contract, then get paid.
It's really tough, though. Like, he's putting the Falcons in a tough position. Like, they need him on the field, so what are they going to do?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, he holds all the cards for sure. Because I'm sorry, Matt Ryan is not the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan is nothing without Julio Jones. Julio Jones is the reason Matt Ryan is just got paid all that money. I get it on Julio's side, but at the same time, you signed a contract, and it's almost like nobody in this day and age, 2018, nobody knows what it's like to live up to their word.
A lot of money hungry people out there, but at the same time, like I agree with you, but at the same time, I think he deserves to be paid like a top 5 wideout. It sucks. It sucks for him.
All right, now Earl Thomas.
I don't really know how to elaborate on his contract situation.
Earl Thomas wants to be. I mean, Earl Thomas.
He's saying he wants to be a Seahawk for life now.
Yeah, well, apparently. Yeah. But he also said he wanted to go to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
You're right. And I'm sorry, Earl Thomas he's what, the 6th highest paid safety in the league right now, and he's not even the 6th best safety in the league right now.
Oh wow, that's a bold hot take.
Do you want to go through all this? You want to go through the safeties?
I love your hot take rankings. It's so funny.
Let's just think real quick. Let's just think of all the safeties in the NFL. Okay, the top safeties. Okay,
Chris,
so
I think there are 6 safeties better than Earl Thomas.
Oh, you do?
No, there's not.
There's not?
There can't be. There's no way.
Okay. Let's break it down. All right, so do you think that
are we just doing free safeties or strong safeties too?
Yeah, well, we're throwing safeties in there. Do you think that Harrison Smith is better?
Yes, Harrison Smith is the best safety in football, and I don't care what anybody says. Fight me on it. He should have been defensive player of the year last year.
Do you think Devin McCourty is better?
No.
You're crazy. Do you think Tyrann Mathieu is better?
No.
Do you think...
I think Earl Thomas is the 2nd best free safety in the league.
You're out of your mind.
That's just my opinion.
You are out of your mind.
Dude, he's so good.
Here are safeties that I think are better. I think Jamal Adams is better. I think that Landon Collins is better. I think that Harrison Smith is better. I think that Malcolm Jenkins is better. I think that TJ Ward is better. I think that Keanu Neal.
TJ Ward don't even have a team right now.
Oh, you're right. He was better.
Yeah, like 2 years ago he probably was. I would argue that. I mean, he's really good free strong safety.
Keanu Neal.
Adrian Amos.
Devin McCourty, Tyrann Mathieu, Eric Berry.
Oh, I forgot about Eric Berry. He always gets hurt.
I mean, I think Malcolm Jenkins is better than Earl Thomas.
I mean, those are my top 5 guys. So like, my safety rankings are a few weeks away yet, but like for free safeties, I got Harrison Smith, Earl Thomas, Devin McCourty, Tyrann Mathieu, Malcolm Jenkins. Top 5.
I just don't think Earl Thomas is.
He doesn't have any weaknesses.
I just think he's old.
The only reason I have Harrison Smith better than him is because of like what he's able to do as like a blitzer. Like he can cover the slot. Like he doesn't have literally any weaknesses. Earl Thomas suffers a little bit in one-on-one coverage, but other than that, I mean, he's just.
So you honestly think Earl Thomas is the second best safety?
I mean, I'll let you make an argument for Devin McCourty. I'm not going to fight you against Tyrann Mathieu either. But other than that, I don't think that there is any other player.
You don't think Jamal Adams is better?
Not yet, no. He can be. He will be.
You don't think Landon Collins is better?
Right now, no. Dude, Landon Collins was bad last year. He was horrible.
Oh, what about hold on. What about
Eric Berry?
Yeah, Eric Berry's a good one. What about pick your poison of either of these safeties?
Kevin Byard
on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh no. No, their corners are really, really good, but their safeties are like, average. Tayshaun Gibson's, maybe like he's probably that upper tier middle range. And who's their strong safety?
Ronnie Harrison?
No, Barry Church.
Barry Church, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even probably top 15, top 20.
Oh, you're crazy.
No.
We're gonna disagree on this one all night long if we keep going.
That's all right. We got to have some diverseness here.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought this up, though. That was fun.
Oh, man. All right, so you got any other news? Oh, Zach Martin got paid.
Yeah. What is his contract?
$84 million.
6 years, $84 million, $40 million guaranteed.
Highest paid guard in football. He deserves it, though.
Oh yeah, he does, absolutely.
There's no doubt about that. What do you think about the Stephon Diggs contract situation?
It's gonna get done eventually. I'm kind of scared about how much we're gonna pay him, but it'll get done.
What about the Khalil Mack contract situation? So many contracts.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm getting really worried. Like this NFL, like this day and age, these players, just like 1 year goes by and they just want to throw their contract out the window already because they feel like they should be getting paid more when they're already getting paid so much more than they should for performing on a field. It's just absolutely nuts. Like I would do anything to throw one pass in the NFL for $1 million. It's just nuts. Like Aaron Donald's contract that he's going to get before training camp is going to make somebody shit their pants.
Oh, it's going to be dirty. That dude is about to get paid.
What are we talking? Like maybe $25 million a year, maybe?
Oh,
more?
I don't know. I'm thinking more like, yeah,
30?
probably. Yeah, probably 25, 28 million. Yeah.
We'll have to ask the Locked On Rams guys here in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah. What do you think about Randy Gregory trying to get reinstated?
I think he should be kicked out of the league.
Yeah.
He's had enough chances. He's done. Julian Edelman got suspended 4 games.
Yeah, with a substance that they don't even know what it is. It's not even on the banned substance list because they don't know what it is that he took. Like they were just like, well, it's not something that we approve, so it must be bad.
I'm telling you, it's probably something he took to feel faster after his injury.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it
was. That's what most of that stuff is, and those players get in trouble for PEDs. It's stuff that's trying to heal injuries quicker. It's not even roids. So,
yeah,
one player I don't know if you saw like on my Twitter, like I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. I cannot believe that Daniil Hunter has not failed a drug test yet. Have you seen pictures of that dude?
Yeah, yeah.
That's nuts. That's not even human.
Uh, Another contract situation. Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about that. I don't even know what's going on.
He's shown up to minicamp and OTAs, but he's refusing to to take any team reps to avoid getting hurt.
I guess
Because he's in a contract year. He wants to be paid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of smart, but at the same time, get your ass out there.
I think it's smart. I think it's brilliant. I think I think just like Julio holds all the cards with Atlanta. I think Odell Beckham Jr.
If OBJ wasn't in a contract here, do you think Julio would be holding out right now? I don't think he would.
I don't think he would. I think honestly, I never even considered that. But Odell Beckham Jr. about to be the highest paid wide receiver really probably pisses Julio off. That probably has a lot to do with it.
He's probably waiting. He probably wants that contract to get done so he can set his number for his agent.
Did you see that the Saints, Marcus Davenport has broke a thumb?
Oh no!
And has to have surgery. The world is coming to an end in New Orleans.
Oh man, he's supposed to be back by training camp though, ain't
he? Yeah, he's supposed to be.
Oh, he'll be all right.
I mean, at least it's a thumb. He can. It's not like he's going to get out of shape. He can still run and do conditioning. He can still
play in that if he actually needed to.
Oh yeah.
I played with a broken thumb. You just put a cast on and go out there. It's not that
hard. You have any other?
I got a few things, and then my last thing I want to talk about. I just kind of want to get your thoughts on it. DeMarco Murray, we already talked about this, declined his Saints workout. He said that he thinks that there's a better spot open for him right now, and I think he doesn't want to go to a team that has such a loaded backfield like New Orleans, where he probably won't play very much. So they did find a Mark Ingram replacement for 4 games. They signed Terrence West yesterday.
Yeah,
it's a good pickup. He's a good back. Texan safety Andre Hall has been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So that's some weekly sad news. Hate to hear that. Prayers for him. Texan safety Andre Hall.
Yeah.
Diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Browns running back Duke Johnson signed a 3-year contract extension. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about.
Did you?
Go ahead.
I thought you were probably going to follow up with it, but there's someone else diagnosed with lymphoma this week.
A player?
New York Giants general manager Dave Gettleman.
Oh, I did not even see that.
Yep.
I did not see that.
Yep.
It sucks, man. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the Gronk rumors. Did you hear about the Gronk rumors?
Oh, Gronk.
Supposedly, coming out of Patriots camp, the 3rd day of the draft, or 3 days before the draft, that's what it was. The New England Patriots had an offer on the table to send Gronk to. They had 2 teams interested: the 49ers, reunite with Garoppolo, and the Tennessee Titans. They both had offers on the table to trade for Gronk. Bill Belichick was going to go through with it. Tom Brady, I think they said that he was threatening to retire. Yeah, he caught wind of it, was threatening to retire if that went through, and Robert Kraft came in and pretty much shut that shit down.
Yeah.
So that was, it's out there now. I think the Patriots definitely are going to try to get rid of Gronk. I doubt it's going to happen now that Brady said he
they have just given Brady way too much control of that team.
Mm.
And if I'm Bill Belichick, I just say peace out.
Dude, the Patriots, the light is here. Like, we are literally, I think, maybe next year. We're maybe a year away. Once Brady's gone, Gronk is gone, Belichick's gone. It's going to be a domino effect. That team is going to collapse.
It's crazy because Robert Kraft was always credited as being a coach who didn't really get involved with the team. Let the team kind of do its own things. And then here these last 2 years, like, he has just been all in and just causing all kind of problems, from Jimmy Garoppolo to the Gronk deal to Tom Brady. I mean,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's insane. They've given Brady way too much power. Brady runs that organization. I mean, no other player in football has a private trainer that gets credentials to the locker room and gets to go on all the trips and even gets to treat other players because he believes in the TB12 method.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just crazy to me. It's crazy, and Bill Belichick deserves better than what he's getting out of Brady and Kraft, and I'm very disappointed.
Yeah,
So
I agree. So that's pretty much all I got for news and notes for NFL. One last thing I want to touch on, and we can do it next week too, but the NBA season is over.
it is.
And the LeBron sweepstakes are here.
It's here.
I'm so excited.
Where do you think he goes?
Oh, I'm biased, so I'm going with the Lakers. I'm a
Uh,
little worried about the Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma thing that's going on right now. I feel like that might push him away. But I think if he goes there, I think he's going to have the freedom to run that team the way he wants. And I think he could recruit another star player like Chris Paul, who's a free agent, or maybe even Paul George. And DeMarcus Cousins, he's a free agent too. So I'm excited. I can't wait. The NBA offseason is always so much fun.
yeah, watch him just shock the world and stay in Cleveland.
I would crap my pants if he stayed in Cleveland. I don't see that happening. There's no way.
There's no way, but
The reason it's not going to happen is because most of those players are still under contract in Cleveland, so they're going to have to come back unless they want to cut them. And the other thing is they have no cap space this offseason to go out and like bring another big name player in. They just can't happen. They're going to have to trade if they want to do that. So
yeah,
there's no way he goes back to Cleveland.
yeah. There've been a couple interesting teams thrown out there.
Philadelphia Sixers.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
I think that's a good spot for him just because I feel like he can still compete in the East. I'm afraid if he goes to the West, he's just not going to be able to. He's going to have to see the Warriors before he gets to the finals. I don't know if he wants to do that.
Yeah, I think I could see the 76ers. I think he's going to stay in the East personally.
You know.
But
But the Sixers are really the only team in the East that's really like been tied to him. There hasn't really been another one.
I'm with you. I like the Lakers. I like the Rockets as a potential landing spot.
I don't like his Houston.
I like. I would. You know what I would really like to see happen? I'm being completely serious with this. I would love to see him. I would love to see him go to OKC, and then OKC and Golden State be in the Western Conference Finals, and OKC beat them.
Oh my God, Durant! Oh my God, that would be terrific.
That would be amazing.
I'm all for that.
Can we please make that happen?
Russ versus Durant, and Russ finally wins. Oh, I'm all about that.
Oh, that would be the best thing in the world to happen.
You could probably make a crazy trade for that too, actually, if you wanted to. Get Melo, send him to Cleveland.
Yeah, because they could easily get rid of Melo. They don't need him. Paul George is gone, so they need to bring in another.
It sounds
superstar.
like I don't know. I think he's gonna go back to OKC personally.
Who?
Paul George. That's just my thought.
Do you?
I think he'll be back. Yeah.
I saw another team that is interested in.
Did you see the news about? Go ahead.
I saw another team that reportedly has a little bit of interest in LeBron James.
The Celtics?
No, there's no chance Kyrie Irving will ever play.
Oh, Spurs?
I did see the Spurs, but there's another one.
The Clippers?
No. In the West.
Oh, you're talking about the Pelicans.
The Pelicans.
Nah, ain't gonna happen.
Oh, yes. The Pelicans.
I don't know. I just gotta throw this out there quick. His press conference after Game 4, after the finals is done, A reporter asked him about where he's going to play next year, and he said, "My family is going to play a huge part in where I play next year." And he bought a house in Los Angeles last year for $24 million. Just saying. I'm just saying.
I hope he doesn't go to the Lakers.
I would love it. LeBron fan, but let's bring the show back to LA, baby.
And World Cup is getting ready to start.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty exciting.
I'm not gonna lie though, July is like the worst month of the year. It just sucks. I hate it.
And USA is bringing FIFA here.
2022.
2026.
Or yeah, 2026. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the Super Bowl coming to Glendale.
Yep. So
22.
2026, America will be hosting the World Cup. That's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think we're just kind of rambling now.
I completely forgot that we were even on the air right now.
All right, guys, y'all hang tight. We have got an awesome interview with Brad Wingfield, a.k.a. Travis Wingfield.
Oh, I got to say one more thing quick.
What?
I put something on Twitter yesterday. Make sure you go check it out. 1 week from yesterday, actually. So next Wednesday, we're going to do a drawing for a signed football card of Chad Greenway. He signed it. I've shared it on Facebook and Twitter. Go on Twitter. You got to retweet the tweet and follow us on Twitter to be eligible. On Facebook, search us on All Pro Nation. Make sure you like our page and share the post to be eligible. We will draw that winner on next week's show.
Cool deal. Yeah, and I think we're going to try to get a couple other little giveaways throughout the rest of the year. So the Godfather of All Pro Nation really liked this promotion, and he wants to try to do a few more other things. So
the Godfather. I love the Godfather.
AKA Nick.
Nick's the man.
Okay, so like Tanner said, be sure to like us and follow us on both Facebook and Twitter. We're there at All Pro Nation. Be sure to check out all the other great shows here on the All Pro Nation Radio Network, The Wild Man Can't Jump, the Sports Greeks podcast. Be sure that you check out the interview coming up with Travis Wingfield, a.k.a. Brad. Be sure to like and follow him on the Locked On Dolphins Network. If you are interested in joining the All Pro Nation staff, we are still looking for podcast hosts to host different podcasts. And we are also looking for writers. Definitely need some new writers. So please reach out to us. You can catch us on the Twitterverse, on Facebook, or you can go to allpronation.com and hit write for us right there. We would love to bring you on board. You don't have to be a professional. You just have to be a fan. Thank you for listening. And here we go. On to Brad. Tanner. Peace.
Peace.
All right, what is up, All Pro Nation family? Welcome back to the state of the NFL, where we are breaking down the AFC East this week. We have with us tonight a Miami Dolphins fan. I don't really know how the All Pro Nation family is going to feel about that, but we got one. How you doing, Brad?
Travis.
Jeez, God dang it! I was reading a text that said Brad. Jesus.
Close enough.
I'm so sorry, man. No, I'm sitting here. I just got I got a text that I was reading as soon as I was introducing you.
Well, don't take it out in post. That's the best intro I've ever had, so keep that in there.
We have Travis Wingfield, ladies and gentlemen. Travis, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, man, I can't complain. So, Travis, why don't you start off by telling everybody that listens to the podcast where they can find you at on the internet and catch some of your work?
Yeah, so I'm the host of the Locked On Dolphins podcast, and I manage the blog page there as well at lockedondolphins.com. My Twitter handle is my last name, Wingfield, at Wingfield NFL. So you can find my work there. I'm tweeting all day, every day. This is my job, so it's pretty much all I do.
Cool deal. Man, we over here at All Pro Nation have accidentally gotten a very good relationship with a lot of the Locked On guys. We've had the Locked On Rams, the Locked On Jaguars, and so we're very familiar with the Locked On network over here.
No, that was Steel City. I'm sorry.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I've talked to Brad and Zach, I believe, are the Jags and the Rams guys, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
So, Cool, guys. So, all right, well, let's jump right on in. We're breaking down the AFC East this week. So, Travis, let me ask you, by starting off, which team poses the biggest threat to the Patriots to win the division this year?
So I'm one of the few people that follows or covers the Dolphins that is actually bullish on them this year. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins, and that is partially because I actually believe in the direction they're headed in terms of finding the guys that are going to be able to execute Adam Gaze's scheme properly, and they have more depth this year than they ever have that I can recall in the last several years. And then the Jets and the Bills they haven't done anything that really worries me at all. I know that everyone likes the rookie quarterbacks, and however you feel about Sam Darnold or Josh Allen is neither here nor there. But the rest of those rosters offensively, they have nothing to me. And I don't think that either of those teams can score to keep up with the Patriots. And obviously the Dolphins provide that kryptonite every single year, it seems like, for the Patriots in that game, the head-to-head game, I should say. So for me, it's the Dolphins, but a distant second to the Patriots.
Okay, so so what you're saying is this is still going to be the Patriots division like it has been for the last decade.
I mean, we've convinced ourselves as Dolphins fans. I can tell you each year that we've come. It's like a 3-year buildup. It seems like it's like, okay, we're not going to get them this year, and then something happens where they lose a bunch of players, and then we're like, all right, this is the time we're going to pick them off. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done doing that. So until Brady and Belichick are gone, it's always the Patriots for me.
Okay, cool, right on. So my next question would be. Let's look at the AFC in general. Do you think there's a team that can really compete with the Patriots in the AFC in general?
Yeah, so I think the Steelers are everyone's main answer, but I'm going to go away from that just because ever since they lost Ryan Shazier, they've had a really hard time defending the run and defending the pass over the short to intermediate middle part of the field. The Jaguars obviously put up a fantastic fight in the AFC Championship game, and they can rush the passer, they can cover the perimeter and disrupt that short rhythm passing game of the Patriots. But I'm not about to trust Blake Bortles. I was down on them last year because of Bortles, and he played better than I thought he would, but he's still Blake Bortles, so I'm not going to give it to him. So let's go with the LA Chargers, and I think it goes back to the same reasons the Chargers, or that the Jaguars present problems for them. They have 2 of the game's 5 best pass rushers for my money, and Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa. So that's the best way to beat Tom Brady. The secondary is loaded, and Derwin James was my favorite player in this entire draft. So getting him only boosts that secondary up. And I think this is the best complement of players that Phillip Rivers has had since the heyday back with LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates in his prime. So they've always played the Patriots tough, regardless of the year or the roster. And I just think that Rivers is poised to finally, make something happen in the postseason this year. So I would go with the Chargers as the biggest threat to the Patriots in the AFC.
Okay, and just sticking with the Patriots theme real quick, do you buy into any of the big rumors that have been going out here lately about Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady, and the turmoil that seems to be going on within that team?
Yeah, I do think that the Julian Edelman PED suspension is interesting only because I know that he spends time at the Alex Guerrero TB12, whatever nonsense they have going on over there.
Yeah.
And so it makes me wonder it makes me wonder if that was something that he, advised Edelman to do or whatever it was that got that positive test into his system. As far as the animosity there between Kraft and Belichick and Gronk and Brady or whatever it is, I think there's something to it, but I don't think it's going to affect the way they play and they prepare throughout the course of the season. So maybe it just means that they're a couple of years closer to the eventual downfall, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime, this year at all.
Okay, cool. Right on. I can appreciate that. All right, so now let's move in. Because I think everybody at this time of the year, because it's really hard this time of year really to say how the division's going to fold out. So a lot of people are really interested in rookies. So if you had to put your money on it, we'll start with the offensive side. Out of the division, who do you think is going to come out as the best offensive rookie in the AFC East?
They lost Dion Lewis at running back, and the guy they drafted at the end of the first round is just a ready-made replacement for him, Sony Michel out of Georgia. Just the way that the Patriots use the backs in the passing game and the way he can kind of one-cut and go, he just is a perfect fit for that offense. So I think that he's going to have a very big rookie year, and he has a role defined for him already. That's a big key for rookies, is to have a very clear-cut role for them to come in and produce right away. So I would go with Sony Michel for the offensive side.
Okay, and what about on the defensive side?
I'm gonna take the homer pick and go with Minka Fitzpatrick.
There you go.
Everything I've heard about the kid is just it's really fun to hear kind of the stuff that he does. I remember reading some of the scouting reports about him and how a scout went down to an Alabama game, a Dolphins scout, and they were there like 6 hours before kickoff, and Minka Fitzpatrick was studying tape before the game, and they were like, "Why were you doing that?" He's like, "Isn't that what everyone does?" Like he just only knows how to work. He's obviously very talented. Two-time Jim Thorpe and Chuck Bednarik Award winners. Only Patrick Peterson and Charles Woodson have done that before him, and he comes into a position that we really need help at, the safety next to Rashad Jones. So I think that he, like I said, has a plan to play every snap on defense this year, and he's a very good ball hawk. He's around the football all the time, good communicator. So I think Fitzpatrick is an easy pick for me there.
Okay, cool. I think it's very interesting that that you didn't pick either of the rookie quarterbacks that are in this division.
But I talked about the Bill, like just the surrounding cast they have up there, and I think that the Jets will probably start off with Josh McCown at least for a couple of games because he played pretty well last year, and he was kind of the reason they weren't the train wreck that everyone thought they would be. And then Josh Allen, you guys know how raw he is and how much he kind of has to come along to get up to speed at the NFL level. I mean, who is he going to throw to? Kelvin Benjamin? I mean, they lost the beef of that offensive line and Eric Wood, Richie Incognito, and Cordy Glenn, and the entire offense was predicated around Tyrod Taylor and LaShawn McCoy. So I just don't see where he has the complements to make himself be able to grow quickly. He could be a good quarterback down the line, but I think this rookie year is going to be a hell of a struggle for him.
Yeah, and I think on the offensive side, one other player that I wouldn't sleep on. Obviously, it's actually a Miami Dolphins player, and Mike Gesicki. I think he could have a really big year as well, in Miami.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I talked about with Sony Michel and having a defined role, that wide position in the Dolphins offense, they tried to do it with Julius Thomas and Jordan Cameron the last 2 years. It didn't work out at all. And it's a position that really is a focal point of Adam Gaze's offense, like an 80 to 85% of the offensive snaps type of role player. And Gesicki is a perfect fit for that. So I totally agree with that. Rookie tight ends tend to take a while because they have to learn all three phases of the game, like from day one. So I think it might take them a while to get acclimated.
Right on. All right, so now I'm gonna kind of really test you a little bit. So we'll start with the Patriots, and we'll go through all four teams in the division. Who do you think on each team is going to be like the breakout player this year? Who's going to kind of surprise everybody and come out and have a great year?
Well, for the Patriots, I'm going to go back to the same pick for Rookie of the Year and Sony Michel. I just think that he's going to produce from day one and be really a huge asset. Yeah, I did. I wanted the Dolphins to draft him in the second round, but he obviously went off in the first round there. So you watch the way he ran at Georgia. He looks like a pro-made running back to me, very quick, scheme diverse. And like I said, the passing game, these running backs that can produce in the passing game, that's where the league is going. That's the direction they're going. So I think he has a great opportunity to have a huge year for them.
Okay, and then we'll move on over to the Jets.
I don't know if this one counts because he was pretty good as a rookie, but I'll take Jamal Adams, the safety. He's a tone setter on that defense, and getting drafted that high is pretty rare for a safety, and he showed you why he was drafted that high last year. And just watching the two Dolphins games they played last year, he was a menace and a really tough time for the Dolphins to deal with. So I'll go with Jamal Adams.
Okay, and then we'll move up to the Bills.
This one was tough, man. I had to look over their roster a couple times to figure out who I wanted to pick. And I'm just going to take a guy that they drafted early on a couple of years ago, was injured in his rookie year, Shaq Lawson, the pass rusher. Yeah. I think that he has a good chance to maybe complement Jerry Hughes a little bit there and get some more pressure on the quarterback because they're going to need some help. That secondary is dynamite. I love Tre'Davious White, but I think he was so good as a rookie, you can't really consider him a breakout.
Right. Yeah, I like that one. All right, and then we'll end with the Miami Dolphins.
So if you guys want to see what I'm all about on Twitter or whatever, it's like I'm the biggest Ryan Tannehill proponent there is in the universe.
Yes.
So I don't know that he's had some good years, some good statistical years, especially 2016. But I think this is the year that the team is built, and we'll get to this in a little bit. But the team is built just 100% around what he does well. So I would say Ryan Tannehill, like very strongly back, and I'm very vehement about that one.
Okay, yeah, I really like that pick. I've been a Ryan Tannehill fan since day one, and I was super excited when they got Gase. I really thought Gase was going to get everything out of him. So I felt like he put in a decent season in 2016, and so I was really depressed when he got knocked out for the year last year because I really thought he was really kind of getting into his own. So I'm really excited for Tannehill moving into moving into 2018.
Yeah, they've. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's really fitting that you mentioned Ryan Tannehill. That kind of leads right into our next question for you.
Perfect. Let's do it.
So what are your thoughts on him? I mean, he's coming back off an ACL injury. How do you kind of see his season playing out? I know outside of Dolphins country, I know there's a lot of speculation that he was maybe even some trade bait.
Yeah,
free agency started.
It was a funny topic all off season, man, because you go back to Adam Gaze's end of the year press conference, and he was adamant about Ryan Tannehill being his guy, and that message continued throughout the course of the off season. And I pat my back a lot throughout the course of this off season because their plan that they did and they executed this off season was kind of how I predicted it happening. And everybody was talking about trading up for a quarterback or going and finding a quarterback, and I just kept on shooting that down because Adam Gase was so adamant that Ryan Tannehill was this guy. And you look at the 2016 offense, and you can see why. You mentioned, your co-host mentioned. Sorry, I'm not going to call you Brad, but I forgot your name already.
Chris.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So as Chris was saying, he was playing really well. The offense was tailored to what he does well. And that's what they're doing this year. They finally have their 5 offensive linemen all excel in pass protection, something he's never had. We've always had terrible offensive lines. He was the most sacked quarterback for the first 5 years of a career for any NFL quarterback besides David Carr, I believe it was, for the Texans many, many years ago. And then the skill players on offense, he's very good in the short intermediate passing game, and they have a lot of guys that can win immediately at the line of scrimmage. And the running backs complement the passing game as well. I just think this offense, there's not a lot of star power, but it's very deep and it's tailored to exactly what Ryan Tannehill does well. So I'm very high on what he's going to be this year. His passer rating in 2016 was 93 something. I think that only goes up in 2018.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So I guess the biggest story of the Miami offseason was the release of Ndamukong Suh. How do you see the defensive line handling that loss?
They're not going to replace him. They're not going to have the same production there, and you just have to accept that and try to find ways to rally the other guys around him. Because the 4 guys they have right now in the rotation are just that. They're all rotational guys that play 20 to 30 snaps a game and give each other breathers, and they can hold up against doubles. Some of them can. Some of them can rush the passer a little bit. Jordan Phillips has a little bit of a knack for doing that. But it's not going to happen. I mean, he played 85% of the snaps at defensive tackle, which is just absolutely ridiculous. You don't replace that. So the hope is that they're going to be playing from ahead in some of these games and let those defensive ends get onto the field because we're so deep at D end that you can kind of unleash the pass rush that way and hopefully not have to worry too much about just the other team banging the ball in between the tackles over and over again.
Okay, right on.
Cool.
And then I guess we didn't put these in the questions that we were going to ask you, but I am curious about the Jarvis Landry. How you feel about the Jarvis Landry release as well?
Mm-hmm. It kind of sucks because now he's out there saying negative things towards the organization, and it just sucks to see because he was one of the big fan favorites over the last several years. Obviously, I mean, the juice that he brings and the energy that he brings to the offense, and he's so much fun to watch when he gets those open field broken tackles and makes plays like that. But for what he is, I mean, for how much money he's making, he's up there with the Antonio Browns and the not Odell Beckham yet, but he will be soon. The guys that make all the money, and he's not worth that. I mean, he's like a top 25 receiver. In my opinion.
Breaking my heart. I'm an LSU guy over here.
That's right. I mean, he's what he does as a slot guy and a chain mover. He's fantastic at that. But yeah. I mean, he's never going to get vertical on anybody. He's never going to be a downfield passing threat. He's never going to have gaudy numbers. I mean, he averaged 8 yards a catch last year. So he's a good player, but nowhere. I would say he's worth about half what he got.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know Tanner's about to ask you a question about the linebackers. So before he does, we got to talk Saints fan to Dolphins fan. I think that the Saints trading Stephon Anthony to the Miami Dolphins was at first I thought the Saints got over on the Dolphins. I was like, all right, we were able to get a 5th round pick for a guy they were gonna cut. Pretty cool. But then they turn around and they use that 5th round pick on probably the most controversial player in the NFL draft in Rick Leonard. And so I'm just kind of curious, how do y'all feel about Stephon Anthony? What did you think about the trade? Anything any insight you have on Stephon Anthony?
when they traded for him, I was thinking, anytime you give up a pick in mid-season, especially a 5th-round pick, that signals that you have a plan for the guy going forward. But they didn't really show that in the way they used him last year. And then they went out this year and they signed Terrence Garvin, a special team / fringe type of player. They drafted Jerome Baker in the 3rd round. You have Raekwon McMillan coming back off of the knee injury last year. So I don't know where he fits in yet. He has the athleticism and the speed they want at the position. They're trying to remake how they look at the position athletically, because last year Lawrence Timmons and Kiko Alonso were 2 of the slowest players at the position in the game, and they were playing all the time. So they wanted to remake the makeup of the linebacker room. But as far as Stephon Anthony goes, I mean, he seemed to be a little bit. You can probably attest to this as well. It's like he didn't really know what his responsibilities were in the defense.
Yes.
He was always biting on these fakes or taking awkward angles and just getting himself into a bad position. So I don't have a positive opinion of him yet, but I guess I'm hopeful.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Like the dude is a freak athlete and super athletic. It's like he just can't comprehend the professional game. And it's crazy because he was so good at Clemson. And it's kind of weird. The Saints and the Dolphins have kind of become little trade partners here recently. They've done a couple of trades over the last couple of years.
Which is funny because Jeff Ireland came from Miami.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
And he was public enemy number 1 when he was here. So pretty.
And it's crazy. He is like they want to put a statue up for him in New Orleans. They love him.
After that draft class, I mean, hell, you got to.
They love him. All right, Tanner, you can go ahead and ask your linebacker question now.
Yeah, we'll actually just kind of stay on topic here with the linebacking core. I know Raekwon McMillan, I think there was a lot of high hopes for him going into last season before his injury. So I guess I just kind of want to ask you about what you think the linebacking core is going to look like. I know Kiko Alonso is still there, and McMillan's going to be back now, and you guys drafted that linebacker, Jerome Baker, as well. So I'm just kind of like, what's the starting lineup look like right now going into training camp?
So yeah, first things first, Raekwon McMillan is the absolute undisputed number 1 Mike linebacker, probably never going to leave the field even in sub packages this year. They had huge plans for him last year, and I feel like this is a little bit negligent on their part because they said that when he went down, their entire defense changed. And to me, that seems like a bad way to approach the line, like a position with a rookie like that. But it is what it is. I don't know if you guys ever saw that Yahoo article that Pete Thamel wrote where they spent an entire year with the Miami Dolphins scouts, and they wrote like a 10-part piece about how they scouted the draft class and everything that went into a scouting department. And they could not talk more highly about Raekwon McMillan. And then you come back this year, he's healthy again, practicing, and they're saying that he's the one making the calls out there. He's getting guys in the right position. He's just everything they thought he would be. So we have huge hopes for him. And that was the first injury he ever had in his career. Just a fluke freak injury on a punt coverage on the very first snap of preseason. Just really, that's the kind of look the Dolphins had last year. So he's the number 1 guy, like undisputed. Number 2, I think they would like to see Jerome Baker beat out Kiko Alonso for that job, because your number 2 linebacker is going to play, in this defense before it has been 100% of the snaps. You hope that they kind of reel that back a little bit and make him more of a sub package guy, because Kiko, he can do some things okay, but for the most part, I don't really like his game. Jerome Baker's an interesting guy because he played with Raekwon at Ohio State, and he has the athletic makeup they're looking for, like we mentioned earlier. He's a good blitzer. He's savvy in terms of knowing his assignments and getting into, being gap responsible rather than just kind of flying to the football. So he can blitz, he can cover, all that stuff. So I think it would go Raekwon, and then Kiko and Jerome are kind of 2A and 2B. And then you have a glut of guys. Stephon Anthony's one of them, Terrence Garvin, Chase Allen, and then a bunch of undrafted free agents from this year.
Cool. This is going to be just like a question I have to ask you, because I was just looking at the Dolphins roster here as a whole. Just off the top of your head, you guys going to have a pretty crowded backfield, do you think, this year? You brought in Frank Gore over from Indianapolis. Kenyon Drake looked like he could take or handle a good majority of the workload this year. And then you drafted Kalen Ballage, I think that's how you say his name, from Arizona State. And he was a damn good back, too, coming out of college. And then you got Sonoris Perry. So you guys going to keep 4 backs maybe, or is somebody going to get cut?
I would imagine 4, and Perry, because of his special teams efforts. We lost our best special teams guy to the Giants, and Michael Thomas. So Sonoris Perry steps in, and he's really good in that role. So I think they do keep 4. As far as the way the reps go, I think Ballage, just like Gesicki I mentioned earlier, he gets kind of integrated and slowly, and Frank Gore kind of takes over the backup job to Kenyon Drake, who, for my money, has superstar potential. He is something else to watch run. I mean, he led the NFL in rushing after he got the starting job in week 13, so that was cool to see. But Frank Gore, the makeup of all these running backs is they can all play all 3 downs. You don't sacrifice deception when they're on the field. You can run every play in the playbook is open with all 3 of these guys. So I think Ballage gets worked in slowly with Drake and Gore kind of doing the 1-2 punch early on. And then by the end of the season, it'll be Drake and Ballage as the 1-2 punch.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Chris, you got anything else before we ask him our final question for him?
Yeah, well, I don't really have anything else. I just I like to give everybody an opportunity to just rant and say whatever they want to say about their team of their choice, and we don't really get a whole lot of Dolphins people on the podcast. So, man, anything that you haven't said that you want to say that you are hyped up about the Dolphins, like go ahead and say whatever you want to say, man.
Oh, bud, you opened Pandora's box right there. I don't know if you want to do that. So, yeah, I've got one for sure definitive thing that just kind of gets in my craw every time I see it, and it's just this national perception of how the Dolphins are going to be crappy because they lost Jarvis Landry and Ndamukong Suh and Mike Pouncey. And Ndamukong Suh, I told you guys, that's a big loss. I admit that fully. But luckily, the salary they cut from him was able to get rolled over to some guys we can hopefully extend in the future. They just gave Bobby McCain a new contract, the cornerback who was due to be a free agent. So that money's getting put to future use, whereas Suh didn't really – I mean, $20 million a year for the impact he had. I don't know if it was worth it. So – it sucks to lose his production, but you can see the thinking there. Jarvis Landry, like I said, he was a good player, but he wasn't an elite player. And paying $16 million for a good slot receiver, it doesn't make financial sense. And Mike Pouncey is where it really pisses me off because this is a guy that he was hermetically sealed Monday through Saturday the last several years, and they would roll him out on Sundays to get him to play on the game on Sundays. And he's missed games every single year going back to like 2012. And last year he didn't practice at all throughout the course of the week. And so the continuity on the offensive line was terrible. They couldn't pick up stunts and twists. There was penalties all over the place. And he wasn't that good of a player at all. So he goes to the Chargers, and now he's some kind of like pariah for them. Whereas in Miami, he wasn't even that good of a player the last couple of years. So these 3 moves have everyone thinking the Dolphins are going to be terrible. But they have the best and deepest offensive line of the Ryan Tannehill era. They have the best play caller of the Ryan Tannehill era in Adam Gase. The secondary is the best it's ever been since I can recall, like going back to the Patrick Surtain and Sam Madison days. Their pass rush with the defensive ends, they are 5 or 6 deep in that area. The linebackers and defensive tackles worry me, but these receivers, I love Kenny Stills. I'm sure you do too, Chris. Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant are both just electric-looking players, and Jakeem Grant's going to get a chance this year. You guys put him on your fantasy team, and you can thank me later for that. He's going to have a defined role that's going to make him a big-time playmaker in this offense. And you mentioned the running backs too. Kenyon Drake, I think, is going to be a stud. So they are very deep. They are very well built for what the quarterback does well, and the defense is better on the back end than it has been in a long time. So I just think this is a good football team, not a great football team, but it blows my mind that they're considered a 3 or 4 win team when they're going from Jay Cutler, who was dreadful, back to Ryan Tannehill, who has been a good quarterback for a number of years.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, 3 or 4 wins, that's kind of insulting, ain't it?
Absolutely. And I just when have they ever been that? I mean, they weren't that last year when they had a hurricane made them lose their bye week. They had to go to a quarterback that was naked on a beach before he got signed in August. Their prize free agent linebacker was wandering around Los Angeles before the first game and couldn't be found. Their offensive line coach was doing cocaine. I mean, and they still won 6 games. So I mean, I don't see how they go below that.
Oh, I forgot about the cocaine. That was like the best thing.
Dude, everything that could have happened last year did.
Oh, it was terrible. All right, but one more question. I lied. I got another one before Tanner asked you the last one. Is this like a make or break year for Gase?
Or Tannehill?
I would say more Tannehill than Gase because, year 3 for a coach usually is when you want to starting to make evaluations and be like, all right, okay, this guy either has it or he doesn't. I think if you get a good amount of health this year and things don't go the way that they had hoped, because he really remade this team to be what he wants it to be. So I could say I think this year could put him onto the hot seat. Obviously, he's not going to survive a 1 or 2, 3 win season probably, but if he wins 5 or 6 games again, then he's really on the hot seat for 2019. And then Ryan Tannehill, yeah, I think this is definitely a big time year for him.
Yeah, right on. I appreciate that, and I love Gase, and just it's everywhere he's been. He's always had this real explosive offense, and I've just been waiting on it these last couple of years in Miami, and it just everything hadn't come together. But I'm excited for this year and see what he's able to do for sure.
Just remember that they have a .662 winning percentage when Ryan Tannehill is healthy with Adam Gase, and it's the backup quarterbacks that are under 500. So I mean, you can draw your own conclusions there.
Yeah. All right, Tanner, go ahead and finish this out, man.
Right. So I'm going to ask you to do something tough. It's June. It's tough to do because we know injuries and stuff's going to happen in preseason, training camp, etc. But how do you kind of see the division shaping out now from like top to bottom? I know you kind of already hinted once that you think the Patriots are probably going to still be in first place as long as Belichick and Brady are there. And I think you said Dolphins coming in too. What about Buffalo and New York there?
Yeah, so I mean, Patriots 8 years in a row at 12 wins. I'm going to stick with 12 wins for them. I got the Dolphins at 10 wins. The AFC is so weak, man. I try to find 6 playoff teams in the AFC. One of them is going to be a surprise team. I'm taking the Dolphins for that, for the reasons I've talked about already. And then I have just a massive cliff, and then the Jets and the Bills. So I got the Jets at 4-12 and the Bills at 3-13. Just dreadful years for them. I thought the Bills were really lucky last year in so many different ways, and the way they won games late. I mean, that snow game against Indianapolis. They beat the Dolphins twice when the Dolphins were basically packing it in for the year. So I think they were very lucky to get what they were. And now they're going backwards at the quarterback position. And the Jets, offensively, I don't see anything on that offense that scares anybody. So I think that Patriots dominant again, Dolphins surprising, Jets and Bills dreadful.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun division again this year. I think I'd like to see. I know you and I kind of talked about it a little bit before we hopped on the show. It seems like Miami's kind of always been Brady's kryptonite when he goes down to South Florida there. So hopefully you guys can do that again this year because I'm kind of sick of seeing the Patriots at the top of the AFC every year. Do
other fans enjoy watching the Dolphins' annual win over the Patriots? Is that something that everybody else revels into?
Oh, absolutely. For me, anyways.
Not really, because outside of the Saints, the Patriots are like my other favorite team.
So, oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
You can sign off now.
So I do like the Patriots. I can't lie. So,
I mean, I respect Brady's greatness, but I've just had enough. I'm ready to. Somebody else can start a dynasty.
Yeah, and I really, there's really. I mean, I guess when you're going to like second and third favorite NFL teams, like there's really nothing to base it off of. I didn't grow up watching the Patriots. I just think they're fun. I like watching them. I think Bill Belichick is one of the greatest coach of all time. I mean, maybe number 2.
Well, even I agree with that. I'm a fan of a team that has arguably the best coach of all time. So I agree because the way Belichick just continuously reinvents himself, and I mean, they're so much fun to watch in the way they devise new packages and just find little things within the rules. I know they have a history of going against the rules, but the things they find within the rule book to just take advantage of rules, like the kickoff, for instance, when the kickoff got moved up to the 35-yard line, they were doing those little pooch kicks down to the 1-yard line and pinning teams down to like the 15-yard line. Just those little small advantages that Belichick always finds. It's really interesting for me to watch as well.
And he pushes the envelope, and sometimes he gets caught, and it's a scandal. But I don't know. I like the Patriots though, so
I wouldn't go that far.
Don't hate me too much, Brad.
I just like you more for the Brad than the Patriots thing.
All right, cool. Well, go ahead one more time. Tell everybody where they can find you on the internet.
Yes, sir. So at LockedOnDolphins.com for the blog page, I post every single day a different article about whatever, and then a new podcast every day at Locked On Dolphins Podcast, and Twitter is at Wingfield NFL.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Well, Travis, we sure do appreciate it, man. I hope you'll come back and be with us again. And until next time, we'll see you then.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Hit me up when you want to do it again.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right, see you.